Growing up, my family would go on road trips every Christmas holiday from Lagos to our hometown in Adamawa State, Nigeria. Inspired by this experience are 25 staple recipes and heartfelt stories just for you. This is Sally's 25 Days of Christmas. Kunu Geda is rich, it's nutty, it's creamy, and it's sweet. It's just very comforting to have. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys how to make one of my very favorite northern dishes. So let's get right into this video. So this is roasted peanut puree, okay? This is roasted peanuts that has been grounded finely to get this beautiful paste. And that is the base of our Kunu Geda. Kunu Geda literally means groundnut kunu, that is groundnut pap, groundnut drink, whatever it is you want to call it, right? And so groundnut is the base of our we are making, so that is why we need that. Next, we are going to be using some form of thickener. This is just millet puree that we use in the house. You can use corn, that is pap or akamu. You can use that as well. Use the white one though, the white pap is what I'd recommend. Then we'll be needing tuwon shinkafa. This is white rice, local white rice, not the regular rice. I don't know how else to explain it, but this is naturally the local northern Nigerian rice that we use to make our tuwon shinkafa and all those meals that we eat. So you can skip this, it's optional. I just prefer to add rice into my Kunu Geda. Kunu Geda can be made without rice, it can be made with rice as well. So whatever works for you is just fine, okay? So now we are going to get our juice from our peanut puree. What you're going to do basically is you're going to dissolve the puree in some water. We are going to be needing a lot of water for this, so make sure that you work by your sink and you have enough water to work with. And also, of course, make sure your hands are thoroughly washed because we are going to be using our hands. For the most of this recipe, we are using our hands. So we're basically going to dissolve this. If you look closely, you would see one roasted peanut that I just pulled out. Yeah, that is what this puree is made of. So we are going to be mixing this in with some water till it's dissolved nicely, and then we are going to strain it. Yes, we are going to be straining this. I'll be showing you the sieve or the strainer that we use. You can use cheesecloth for it. You can use a cheesecloth, but for me, I find cheesecloth stressful. I don't know why, but it's stressful to me. But this sieve that I use, it's actually a cheesecloth fabric. They just made it in the form of a sieve, something you can hold with your hand much more easily. And I find that very, very interesting and very, very comfortable to use actually while cooking. So it's called raria. If you go to the market here in Nigeria and you're trying to get this kind of sieve, just look out for these Hausa men that sell sieves and little kettles and things like that. Just tell them you want to buy raria, they will sell it for you. Okay, so into your pot. Now you want to use a pot that is quite big and spacious because when you are boiling this, it tends to bubble up. You'll see that later in the video. So I advise that you use a good sized pot. For me, I just used this pot because I wasn't really making much of what I was doing. So you're going to put your sieve and then you're going to strain your groundnut puree that you have dissolved in water. You're going to strain this and still rinse it off. You're trying to extract as much juice as you can from this groundnut paste without totally diluting the paste and taking away the groundnut flavor. You still want that groundnut flavor, but you're just going to add enough water to rinse off every single creaminess out of that peanut. Okay, you want to rinse everything off till you just have shaft. That is what we are doing here. So that liquid is what is going to serve as the base of our Kunu Geda. Okay, so I am just rinsing off everything that I can rinse. I'm adding some water, but not too much water, like I said, because if you use too much water, you're going to dilute and just take away that groundnut flavor. You won't really get that in your pap, in your kunu. So after doing that, this is what we have. Now we're going to transfer this to our cooker and we are going to let it boil. So we are going to cook this on medium heat for a number of minutes, which I will explain much later. But immediately when you put this on your cooker, dilute your thickener. Once you dilute your thickener with some water, you're not trying to make it thick, let it be runny, almost like you're trying to make a flour slurry. Okay, once you do that, set that aside and then head back to your cooker. You're basically going to stand and watch this groundnut puree because it tends to bubble up and pour, and if you're not there, it can literally just pour out of the pot and spill everywhere. For those of us who have made soya bean milk or tofu, you can almost relate to what I'm saying because the water that we've extracted from our soya bean begins to bubble up and pour. So you have to use your cooking spoon to kind of like pat it down, or you have to take it off the heat from time to time and put it back, or turn off the heat and turn it on again, things like that, because you need it to cook, but then you don't want it to spill everywhere. While that is going on, make sure you put your rice. For those of us that will be adding rice or guinea corn, add it at the very start so that it starts to cook the moment the groundnut starts to cook. You get me? You want everything to be cooked all the way through. You don't want to have to be eating raw grains. While that is going on, I'm just gonna give you a quick story of this dish. Okay, I love this dish so much as a child. When we travel to the north, I always maximize the opportunity to eat as much northern food as I can, especially with the ones that are made with materials that you can't really get in Lagos, because even for us to be able to make this in Lagos, we always have to have them send us the groundnut paste from the north. Or whenever we travel to the north, we ensure we buy like a bucket full of the paste so that when we're heading back to Lagos, it can take us for like the next 1 year. Oftentimes when we travel to the village, we spend some time with my dad's family, we go to my mom's family side as well. Both of my parents are from the same state, Adamawa state. So once we go to Adamawa, we are at home, but then there are 2 different houses there that we have to visit. So even if I were to be on my mom's side, my grandma would have the Kunu Geda delivered to me because yesterday I mentioned that I wanted to take Kunu Geda. That is how much I love this thing. Okay, that is just a quick backstory of one of my very core memories of traveling to the village for Christmas. So now that our groundnut base is cooked, we are going to turn off the heat and then we're going to stir in our thickener. So you do not have to use every single thing in the bowl that you diluted. You just want to use this to thicken your kunu so that it gets, a bit thick. You don't want it to be too thick and you don't want it to be too thin. If you leave your cooker on and then you add this, your kunu will not get thick. So you have to take it off. Either take it off of the heat or turn off your heat. And then you're just going to add this in and be stirring as you're adding it in so that lumps do not form, and your Kunu Geda is ready to drink. Add a little bit of sugar for sweetness. You can use honey as well, or whatever sweetener you like, or if you do not want any sweetener, you can just take it as it is. A fun fact, you can actually add in some evaporated milk. Don't say I was the one that told you. It really elevates the taste of this thing. Trust me, you will love this. Even without the rice or with the rice, you will really love this. So I hope you try this recipe. This Christmas is one that you should try out things you've never had before, especially with your loved ones. Share good memories, okay? Try new things. I assure you that you're going to love this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on your post notifications so that you get notified on my next video. Share this video to your loved ones, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a beautiful Christmas.